Hey guys, it is Zap. Hopefully you know me, community lead at the Entrepreneur Center, coming back with another virtual event. I am in the office though, so once again, if you ever want to come visit us in the office, we're here. So come say hi. I'm so excited to have Rob back. He was kind of like a fan favorite last time. People loved what he had to say, and obviously sales matters all the time, but especially right now. I think that's what everyone is kind of thinking about, is how can we still sell in COVID and do it better and all that good stuff. But thanks so much, Rob, for coming back, and I'll let you take things away.
Yeah, thanks. Let's see. I think I'm set up here technologically. What's up, guys? Yeah, thanks for having me. Just real quick, I'll cut right to the content because I have to leave right on time, so we have less than an hour. And this is a really important topic, a really fun topic, but a really robust topic. Like anytime anyone wants to talk about closing, I feel like we could do 3 days on closing. And I really could. This is a topic that I come, like I said, I could do 3 days. I come locked and loaded though with from what I know about your organization, from what I know about closing, from my experience teaching closing to startup entrepreneurs or people just on the other side of startup, people that are either scaling towards profitability or just at profitability and looking to scale further. I pack what I believe will be the most powerful content I can get you to the street today in about 55 minutes with information that you could use to help you close business today. That's my goal. That's how I prepare for the session. With that being said, without doing like 20 different discovery calls or however many participants we'll have today, I never know what is going to be the best for you guys. And so if you guys want to get the most out of our time and get the most powerful, highest impact information, you got to participate. So whether that's going to chat, coming off mute, coming on camera when you're talking to me, that kind of stuff, you got to participate because I'll go in a lot of different directions as long as it's productive and as long as it's on topic. My point is if what I'm getting you is good, but it's not quite hitting the spot, then help me hit the spot, right? Because I can do it, right? This is an easy topic to make really highly valuable. It's a very easy topic. You guys should easily get out of here with high quality stuff that you didn't know when you got out of bed that can help you make money like today. It's an easy topic to do high value. So there you go. That's it. A 60-minute or less session. You should be walking away, whether you take a lot of notes, don't take a lot of notes, don't take notes at all. You should be walking away with 1 to maybe 5 or 6 high-level lessons learned and some information about how to apply your lessons learned in your daily life, right? So again, no one's gonna close $9 million today based off what they learned. I'm not gonna change the trajectory of your life in 60 minutes, anything like that. But you should be able to get like 1 to 5 aha kind of things out of the session. That's what we're working for. That's how we'll judge success. So if you're getting there with the content that I have prepared, cool, we'll just keep moving. If you're not getting there, step in and ask some questions and help me get there, right? Because it's not that I don't have something that'll help you, it's just that I have to make some guesses about what actually to bring you. Okay, so closing without being salesy, really important topic because the game of business is run on a scoreboard. The scoreboard is the bottom line, and the bottom line doesn't exist without the top line. And there's only one way that money enters a business, right? Maybe you're getting some funding or whatever, where you're selling off pieces of your soul and you owe that money back. But in reality, once you're going, there's only one way money enters a business. There's a lot of ways that money leaves a business. There's only one way it comes in. That's selling. But everybody hates salespeople, right? Everybody hates salespeople, and no one wants to be that salesperson. So here is my question to you guys. We all can agree that we hate salespeople. It's based off of our life collection of experience with salespeople. But what is it specifically about salespeople that we hate so much? It's important to sort of put our finger on a couple things so that we know this is what we're not going to do. This is what we're going to figure our way around. This is what salesiness is. It's kind of important to define salesiness. So I have my 5 things, but before I give you guys my reveal here, what are some of yours? You can come off mute and just start talking. You can go to chat. Either one's okay. It doesn't matter to me. So Emily, there's nothing inherently wrong with somebody wanting your money, but it's what do you get in that exchange, right? They don't care if you win the exchange. If you lose the exchange, they're okay with it, right? To me, there's nothing inherently wrong or dirty about wanting money and asking people for money. It's do you win or lose the exchange? Fake, yeah, I agree with that. So MLW 1908, being pushy. Can you break down what pushiness is? Maybe a specific example? Because I think we all can agree that pushiness sucks and salespeople are pushy, and especially shitty salespeople are pushy. But what exactly can we agree about what pushiness is? So Janelle says selling something I don't need. Woody agrees with pushy, but also adds being a liar. Emily, they waste your time. Isn't it so funny? They're just so happy. It's like, dude, I could not be less interested. Still, give me 5 minutes. It's like, bro, go find something better to do. This person does not want to buy from you. They're uninformed, trying to rely on rapport. Yeah, Courtney, there's a difference between bonding, rapport, and trust in relationships. We oftentimes talk about bonding and rapport like it's one thing. There's bonding, rapport, there's trust in relationships. And salespeople try to use commonalities like it's all 4 things, right? Like, hey, Rob, you went to Indiana State, right? My cousin's dog walker's rabbi also went to Indiana State. Holy shit, we got a lot in common, right? And they think that that's those 4 things in one sentence. Harassing, unempathetic, not patient. Yeah, we all agree. Here are my 5. Pushy, which I'll kind of define here. Selfish, right? There's nothing wrong with going to the market and trying to sell your thing and asking people for their money. There's absolutely nothing wrong with that, right? It's how commerce works. It's how capitalism works. But you have to care that the person that you even out in the exchange, right? Terrible salespeople don't care that they're going to win the exchange and provide you something of nothing or low or little value, and they don't care about that. That's one of the differences between everybody on this call, terrible salespeople. Here's a big one, because we're going to talk a lot about this from a technique perspective, okay? They won't take no for an answer. That's most salespeople will not take no for an answer. And some of you have the myth floating around your head that salespeople aren't supposed to take no for an answer. And that is crap. I need you to get rid of that way of thinking, right? Great salespeople will take no for an answer. Great salespeople are great at getting no's. They just get them very quickly early on in the process and then use that time to find other people that might be interested in what they want to buy. They argue, right? They argue, and what's funny about when salespeople want to argue with you is that they think that they're being consultative, because every now and then they ask you a question. Like if I ask Haley, why are you such an idiot? It's like, Rob, I'm asking really great questions. Like that's consultative selling, right? But in reality, they're arguing, and they're also very defensive. I didn't build this into this talk. This is part of handling objections, but you'll tell a salesperson, even if it's something that you're interested in, you'll give them some critical feedback, like, hey, your price might be just a little bit higher than what I was thinking. And you're in good faith, and you give them critical feedback, and what happens? They argue. Here, you're wrong, let me tell you why, right? Maybe they don't say it that clearly or that succinctly, but they're basically, you're wrong about my price, here, let me tell you why. Instead of, hey, gosh, thank you for sharing that information with me. Help me understand, when you're saying price is high, are you comparing that to a different offer? Like, walk me through what your thinking is there. right? Instead of doing that kind of stuff, they get defensive and you end up in an argument. It's one of the reasons it's like the largest what do you call it, like paradox of being an ethical salesperson. The craziest paradox is that your prospects will lie to you relentlessly because they're so afraid of you being a liar, because that's their experience with salespeople. So they'll lie to you all the time, right? All right, let's see. So key rule, key concept, people buy in spite of the hard sell, not because of it. Okay. And I know that sounds like everyone's like, yeah, Rob, no kidding, idiot, right? Of course, people do not buy because of the hard sell. They buy in spite of it. But this sort of concept, I got to just put this in your head, because a lot of the tactical technique things that I'm about to get into are really heavily reliant on this. And also, you guys know that nothing that I will ever teach, train, coach, preach, push, any of that stuff is about pressure to say yes. I 100% am completely adverse to any kind of sales practice or technique that is any kind of yes pressure. Now, sometimes it's okay to put a little bit of pressure on your prospects because they should be making decisions, right? So you could apply some pressure, but you're never putting pressure on someone to say yes. If anything else, you're begging them to tell you no. So people buy in spite of the hard sell, not because of it. Okay, another question, and I think there's some stuff in chat I'll catch up with here once I ask you guys this question and start collecting responses. Think of a trusted advisor who's on your payroll. So somebody that you trust that you're paying, like my accountant, right? My accountant who does my taxes and helps me with my investment and that kind of stuff. My financial advisor. These are trusted, the girl who tutors my daughter, right? These are people that I'm in a buyer-seller relationship with, but I trust them, right? Like I'll do whatever they tell me to do. I don't care what it costs. That kind of, whoever that is in your world. Accountant's a good example. And think about that person and compare them to salespeople. How are they different? What do you guys think? And again, chat's okay. Come off mute if you want, however you want to communicate here. Emily, you have the opposite problem. To avoid being pushy, I lead expecting a no, ready to take a no. Okay, so I'll change one thing about what you just shared. Like, stop expecting no's. It's okay to take no's. And it's even okay to chase no's. But don't expect a no, right? Because if your orientation towards prospecting calls or sales conversations or discovery conversations is I'm going to get a no, then you'll find a way to get a no, right? That's just how the brain works. It's how we make decisions. It's how we interpret evidence. If you go into a meeting thinking you'll get a no, you'll interpret a piece of evidence as negative. If you go into a meeting thinking you'll get a yes, you'll interpret the same piece of evidence as something positive. And likely it's positive, because human beings have a negativity bias where we think things are worse than they are. It's how we evolved to survive and all this stuff, right? But yeah, so don't expect no's. It's okay to be comfortable with no's. It's okay to even chase no's, but don't expect them. Look, you guys, let me get some answers here if you don't mind in chat. What's the difference between your trusted advisor and salespeople, the type of salespeople that we're talking about, how we hate? Number one, if my trusted advisor says, Rob, you should do this, I do it. And I don't ask questions, right? I don't care what it costs. I'm like, yeah, let's do it. Sounds good, right? You should do this, especially my tax guy, right? Whatever you say, Matt, I'm in. Trusted advisor offers insights, value, and can pivot solutions to fit. Yeah. Trusted advisors are on a level footing. Ooh, that's a good one. Janelle, if that's how I pronounce your name correctly. Please correct me if I'm wrong. if I
No,
didn't do that
that's
right.
correct.
Okay, good. Yeah, big difference between the type of salesperson that we loathe, that we're talking about loathing, and the type of salesperson that we aspire to be is a concept called equal business stature.
Mm-hmm.
Right? Equal business stature. So very good. Ask great questions. Yeah. And also, Woody, very good. And the great question doesn't come from some sales, like one page that they learned in company onboarding sales training, right? Ask these questions, right? Where does it come from? It comes from like this place of curiosity, where they're trying to figure out and understand your problem, and they're trying to empathize with their problem. They're trying to use their expertise to help you fix the problem, right? It doesn't come from some stock question in their brain from some sales book that they read. It comes from a place of just curiosity. Great listeners. Good. Okay, so here's what I think about trusted advisors. They're objective. Like my tax guy, I'll come to him with a thing that I'm thinking I have to pay him for. Like, here's a thing that I've got an issue with that I might need your help on that I'll pay you for. And he'll go, no, you don't. Like, he'll turn down money from me because it's objectively the right thing to do, right? My financial, the way that the firm that I'm with for financial investments, like in the way that they get paid, and like they don't load up on commission stuff. Like, they're truly telling me what to do based upon my income, my goals, where my business is, how old my daughters are, all that kind of stuff. Like, they see the full picture, and they will tell me to do what's right, even if they don't make as much money off the investment. They truly want for me what I want for myself. They truly want it, like in their heart of hearts. It's not just between the hours of 9 to 5 when they're talking to me, right? Like, as a sales maneuver, they really want what's best for me. They sell me things only when it makes sense, and their approach is always no is okay, right? We can still be friends. No is okay. To me, these are the big four differences. So you guys let me know if you come up with something radically different, if you want to push back, because all the technique conversation here that comes next is really predicated upon this stuff. This trusted advisor versus the salesperson that we hate, that we do not want to emulate. Okay. Remember, elite level salespeople, and I know y'all are entrepreneurs, but until you hire salespeople, I'm addressing you when you have your salesperson hat on, because you're the only one selling for your company. So I know y'all are entrepreneurs, business owners, presidents, CEOs, that kind of stuff. But you wear a sales hat. So I call you salesperson when you got that sales hat on, just so you know, to clear up the terminology. Elite level salespeople get a lot of no's. They get a lot of no's, and I call it doctor money. I think there's 3 tiers of salespeople, right? There is money isn't everything, but business, again, is run on a scorecard, and that scorecard is bottom line. Sales performance is run on a scorecard. That scorecard is revenue and the amount of money you make. So money isn't everything, but it is the scorecard for sales performance. So I'll talk about money, not because it's everything, but because when we're talking about sales, let's talk about the right stuff. There is the mediocre or the failing salesperson, which probably constitutes 85% of the market. There is the succeeding salesperson that is making between, 70K and 150K. That's maybe 13% of the market. Okay. And then you got, 2 to 7% of the market that makes doctor money, which is like up in this 200 and up area. So that's what doctor money is for me. Because to me, that's what appeals. I'm a competitive person and I'm a smart person. I could be doing other things than what I'm doing. That's the appeal is, can I make as much money as a doctor in 45 hours a week? right? That's kind of the thing that drives me. So that's when I say doctor money, that's what that means. So elite level salespeople that are making doctor money, that are making as much as psychiatrists and pediatricians and those kinds of folks get a lot of no's. Okay, it's not that they don't take no for an answer. They'll take no's when they're real no's, and they know how to chase down real no's from fake no's, and they know how to get no's early. And they get prospects to make a high volume of decisions, and their prospects are always making decisions. And they're not taking 3 meetings to make a decision that should have taken 20 minutes, right? They facilitate decisions. And a lot of those decisions are, no, Rob, it doesn't make sense to do business with you. Okay, right? Thanks for telling me 17 minutes into our first call instead of 6 months later when you've been in my pipeline wasting my time. Okay, they take no's for answers. So I will belabor this point on purpose. Not taking no for an answer is stupid. If you've read that in a book, if you've seen that on a blog, if that's a core tenet to your selling philosophy or your sales philosophy, I know stupid is a harsh word, but I think it's appropriate. That is dumb, right? And that's how you get labeled as pushy, right? Think about it. It's like the definition of who's pushy is someone that won't take no for an answer when clearly it's a no, right? It's nuts how often I bump into entrepreneurs and salespeople and even sales leaders that are like, Rob, I just don't take no for an answer. I interview salespeople all the time. They're like, I don't take no for an answer. And I'm like, that sounds awful, right? Why not? You're not a fit for everybody, bro. Like, it's not about not getting no's, right? Like the baseball analogy, striking, great home run hitters. Aaron Judge strikes out all the time because he don't care how many times he strikes out, because it's all about the amount of home runs he hits. Or pardon me, whatever metropolitan area you're from and whatever team you cheer for, the home run hitter analogy used appropriately, because I know everybody hates the Yankees mostly. But not taking no for an answer is a terrible idea. Collect no's. Don't feel bad if you get no's. If prospects are, that's how you get prospects in ghost mode or hiding from you, is when they feel uncomfortable telling you no. They just won't talk to you anymore because they're not comfortable, because you won't take it for an answer. So anyway, get no's. It's okay. You can get plenty of no's, right? Doctor money salespeople take a lot of no's. So there's a difference between a prospect not wanting your service, not needing your service, or not being committed, and a prospect who wants what you have, needs what you have, and just can't see it. So I back up this slide where I belabor the point of it's okay to get no's with this slide, because a prospect truly doesn't want you, doesn't see value, hates the idea of doing business with you, just doesn't have the kind of problems that you fix, right? Just isn't in your wheelhouse. Or maybe they have the problems, but they're just not committed, right? I disqualify a lot of my prospects who have the problems that I fix. The problems that I fix are impacting them very meaningfully, but they just won't do what it takes to fix them. They would rather just suffer, right? They're just not committed. They would rather suffer. They don't want to do the work to fix it, right? Fixing your sales force is hard. Prospecting, making cold calls is hard. People just don't want to do it. So there's a difference between that and a prospect who needs your help getting, that closer instinct, getting them over the finish line. So don't wimp out and disqualify somebody who really should be buying from you and blame the slide for that, is my whole point, right? Rob, you said it was okay to take no's. I've gotten 785 no's in a row. And it's like, well, somewhere in those 785, there's probably a bunch of people that should have told you yes, but you wimped out, right? You wimped out. You didn't help them discover why they should tell you yes, or you didn't clear the barriers for them to tell you yes. You didn't help them make decisions, whatever it was, while you're not closing. So there's a difference between people who, really hard knows that you really should be collecting, and people who should be saying yes. You let them wimp out instead. Okay. You guys, I'm going to take a breath and get a drink of water if you want to go into chat and ask any questions or anything so far. If not, I'll just continue. All right. So let me give you one key closing technique. So ideally, closing is just the last decision of a series of decisions. There's not some magic closing move. Like people come to sales closing seminars and it was like, show me the magical move. What are the magical words to say to make a totally disinterested prospect with no money all of a sudden become interested and have a bunch of money, right? There's no magical move, but here's let me give you a technique sort of when all else fails, just because I think you guys could use this to make some money. When a prospect who has a problem, the problem is really impacting them, they're committed to fixing it, they believe I could help, they want my help, right? So I've got a good foundation, they have some money, I've got a good foundation, and they're just not seeing it. Maybe they have one of the indecisive personality types. Maybe they're afraid of risk. Maybe they have hired a coach or a consultant in the past and had a terrible experience. Maybe it's a combination of any of those three things, whatever it is, they're just not getting across the finish line. Here's a technique for that person is you could ask them, hey, Mrs. Prospect, so let me ask you this, if you don't mind. Do you ever have like a prospect that you just know you could help that should be buying from you and they just don't see it and it's just so frustrating? And they go, yeah, Rob, God, that happens all the time. And you go, really, give me an example. Well, blah, 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 blah. And they get all emotionally involved in the example. Yeah, let me tell you about this one. Man, she really should have bought it. She had this problem, blah, 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 blah. And then you just pull the rug and you go, why are you doing that to me right now? And they're like, shit. Like totally catches them. Hey, do you ever have, so I'll give you guys the talk again. Do you ever have a prospect who really should be buying from you? You know you could help them. You know you would provide the value and they don't. And they say yes, because they've all done it. Yes, yes. Give me an example. They get all emotionally involved and then you ask them, why are you doing that to me? When you could put it in their world, then they see it. All of a sudden they go, damn, God, I guess you're right. Okay, let's do it. Okay, let's do it. That works 19 times out of 20. All right. So closing again, reminder, closing isn't some magical thing that happens. It's just the last decision after a series of decisions that they've made to do business with you, right? The last decision after a series of decisions. So what decisions, you guys, my next question to you to get you to answer in chat, what decisions do your prospects have to make before they buy from you? What decisions, as it relates to you, not to get out of bed and put pants on and that kind of stuff, as it relates to your stuff, what decisions do they have to make before they buy from you? What do you think?
They have to decide if what we're selling is going to greatly improve their life.
So that's true. I'm just wondering, is that decision in itself the aggregation of a couple other decisions? They have to decide if it's going to improve their life.
Or improve whatever area of their life. But yeah, it's a little high level.
I get that. Mm-hmm. What else, you guys? And there's no stupid answers here. There really aren't any stupid answers. You can give me the basic stuff.
They have to decide if their wife's going to be mad at them.
What do you sell and who do you sell to?
I just had a sales call with a musician who we sell music production.
Okay.
So he has.
He wants to spend the kitchen table money on music production time.
Mm-hmm.
I have a family story. What year was it? My great uncle. For those of you who are musicians, I say ES335. You'll know what that is, but it's a Gibson hollow body guitar. And my great uncle left the house with kitchen table money and came back with a Gibson ES335. And it all worked out because it's like the guitar is worth $80,000 today, but it's a funny story. I believe it's true. And I don't know what they did for a kitchen table, but that's what that reminds me of. They have to decide to make a change if they already have some kind of solution. Is it worth it? Can they maintain status quo? Will the cost to their business or not moving forward outweigh the cost? Okay, that's good. Understand the value of the product and service. Okay. All right. You guys are getting close. This is a lot. This is a lot. And this isn't perfect for everybody, but this is mostly universal. This buyer's journey is mostly universal. Most of this should fit you. And this is the series of decisions that prospects make. You might add 5 or 6 or subtract 1 or 2, but this, you should find this mostly universal. You shouldn't be reading this and going, oh, that's way wrong, right? And if you do, just let me know. That's okay. We could still be friends if you disagree, but we could talk it out. So here is the fairly universal buyer's journey. So they say, I have a problem. The problem's impactful. I'm committed to fixing the problem. Okay. If you follow like the Sandler stuff, this is the pain step. Baseline selling calls this compelling reason. I'm trying to think of any other consultative selling approaches that you guys may have heard of. But that's what that is. So they say, I have a problem, the problem is impactful, and I'm committed to fixing this problem. Okay, so when they buy you, whether you facilitated this deliberately or not, if you facilitated these decisions, they made these decisions. It might have even been subconsciously, but they made these decisions. They said, I've got this problem, it's impactful, and I'm committed to fixing it, okay? And then money comes up. So this is budget. Budget is willing and able. And where most salespeople fail is they do able, but they don't do willing. So a lot of salespeople go, oh, my prospect has money. And they think that the prospect having the amount of money that you need is the same thing as them being willing to spend that amount of money that they have, that they're able to spend with you. Okay, so this is the budget, basically what happens to them. I'm able to spend the amount of money it takes to fix this problem. I'm willing to spend the amount of money it takes to fix this problem. And then this is, depending on what your competitive situation is, this is either, whether you're up against apathy, so they decide to do nothing, or they decide to hire you, or if they don't hire you, they hire your competitor. Whatever you're up against, this is when they decide you, okay? Company X or person X, right? I believe company X understands. I believe company X has expertise. And not only do I believe, but I want the help, right? I want the help. So, if you want to call this differentiation, that's appropriate. Now, please, I give this in a sequence: pain, budget, and differentiation. These things don't have to happen sequentially, and oftentimes if they don't, right? Because part of the art of selling is you take the science. I would call this science: decision, 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 decision. This is the science of creating a transaction and a prospect making a decision. But when this goes into play, right, a sales call is conversational. It's me talking to another person, asking them questions, them responding, them asking me questions. So don't get caught up in the facilitation of these decisions within sequence, because oftentimes they will happen out of sequence, right? So I don't want you to think you have to show up to a call and get this done first, and this done second, and this done third, and this done fourth, and this done fifth. And a lot of times some of this stuff, this might happen up here, depends on what you sell. Depends on your posture and your presence. Depends on if they're a referral or a cold call. A lot of different stuff. But for the most part, this is the universal buyer's journey. Your buyer are making all these decisions. And then once they've made these decisions, you can get the final closure decision. Yes, no, I'm pulling the trigger. I'm going to buy you or I'm not going to. Okay. Elite level salespeople facilitate these decisions. Find a way to facilitate, right? You'll find that every purchasing decision you've ever made, you checked all this stuff off, right? Even if it was a pack of bubble gum. Probably didn't happen consciously, but subconsciously you made all these decisions and you bought a pack of bubble gum. Could have happened in half a second or a second. And the difference between lame salespeople and elite level salespeople is elite level salespeople facilitate this. They're aware of the decisions that the prospects have to make, and they facilitate getting the prospects to make these decisions. Okay. So closing really is the end result of the facilitation of all the decisions that have to happen in the buyer's process. Now it's wildly complicated. I mean, the firm that I'm with, we have 200 sales training topics that we teach, right? So you can come to a class like every week for a year and not be through the topics for 4 years. So it's complicated. A lot of things happen, but in terms of really what the science of closing is, it's them making all these decisions. It's them making all these decisions, and that's really it. It's not magic. It's did they say yes to all the right things that they have to say yes to along the way. Okay. So the way that you get better at closing is you figure out, is it when someone buys from you, is it these decisions plus a couple more? Is it these decisions minus one or two? Like, what is the journey that your prospects take to buy from you? And then you just make sure you facilitate all those decisions, and that's it. It gets pretty simple, especially when you get to practice. All right, one decision at a time. You will find oftentimes stuck prospects that are kind of stuck in your pipeline. We're going to put it off from, whatever that sounds like in your world, when it's like 3 calls in a row. They've been at the same spot. They've just been stuck. They're moving. They're not moving towards no. Like, that's the worst prospect in the universe, right? I will take somebody who's pissed off and who hates me over someone who's stuck, because the pissed off person is either going to change their mind very quickly and figure out that they're wrong, decide that they like me, or we're never going to talk again. Ideal scenario for me, because I don't take it personally. And if we're not doing a transaction together, then you're not wasting my time. It's these people in the middle that are stuck, that are just killing you, right? Just freaking killing you. So you'll find that they're stuck because they're trying to make, whether it's, this decision and this decision, whatever it is, they're trying to make multiple decisions at the same time. And they don't have clarity, right? They don't know that this is the journey that they take. They don't know that. And if you're not helping them figure that out, if you're not helping them make these decisions, if you're not helping them separate the decisions that they have to make, then they're just going to be stuck. It's a myth. Prospects say, it's really good, really like the proposal, really enjoy our conversation, let me think about it. And we're like, perfect. Yeah, why don't you think it over, give it a week, right? It's a myth that time helps decision-making too. Like, that we think that that's reasonable. If someone goes, let me think it over, and we're afraid to be pushy, so we give them time. And then guess what? They come back a week later and they haven't made a decision. Well, because the time didn't help. That wasn't the problem. It was they didn't have clarity what decisions they should be making, or they're trying to make too many decisions at a time. That's the issue, right? Time does not help them, because they don't know what the problem is. They don't know what the problem is. Like, Haley could be like, rebuild my transmission. It doesn't matter how much time you give me. I ain't figuring that out. It ain't happening, right? Don't matter. Can't figure that problem out on my own. Time doesn't help. All right, before I move on here to my last piece, you guys, I'll take another drink of water, and you got a question here. Actually, no, I got another. I'm gonna run out of time. Okay, I'm gonna hurry through this. I'm gonna hurry through this little exercise. So, is there something that you've been thinking about buying that you just haven't closed on? You don't have to go to chat. I won't ask you a bunch of questions, but try to think about that, because it makes the exercise and the talk here a little more powerful. Like, is there something that you've been thinking about buying that you just haven't figured out a way to buy? Right? And then it's like, why not? Okay. I don't know why. I just went to Dick's and bought these like camping chairs. I don't camp, but I've been in enough situations this summer where I'm like, I wish I had a nice chair right now. Neighbor's house or whatever, the kids are out playing. My daughter's, I'm not a fishing person, but now my 6-year-old's into fishing, so I have to take her fishing. And I was at Dick's and I was like, oh, those, because I like these Yeti cups, are like freaking amazing. And I'm like, I really want this Yeti cooler, I think. But for some reason, I just didn't buy it, which does not make sense, because I have a lightning quick sales cycle and I tend to just buy the things that I want. So anyway, something like that. It doesn't have to be something crazy. So what's something you've been considering buying that you just haven't bought, and then why not? Emily, you gotta detail. Why haven't you detailed your car yet? It's like $100. And they've even got, you guys have like we have the sparkling image here where it's like a car wash where they'll do it. You don't even have to go to a special detail place. So here's why I have not bought a Yeti cooler. Because I'm like, when's the last time I even used a cooler? I like never use a cooler. I don't drink alcohol anymore, so that's a big part of the reason. Do I even need a cooler? Also, Yeti, I think it's detrimental to their brand. They have so many options. I can't figure out what the hell I want. Because I'm like, I haven't even owned a nice cooler in so long, and now there's like 5 different really great options, and they're all like $300, $250. Like they're not like free. Like, which one do I even want? What size? There's like 12-pack size, 18-pack size. There's this one that's like more like a bag. What size? And then also in terms of value proposition, willing, able. Is a Yeti cooler really 10 times better than Igloo? Because they cost 10 times as much. They're $300, not 30. So it's like, is it really better? You know? And I'm stuck trying to make all 4 of these decisions at once. Also, the problem that the Yeti cooler fixes for me is just not that impactful. Right? I do have a problem. It's just not that impactful. I'm just really not that committed. That's part of it too. But there's all this stuff that I don't know how to answer. All this is going through my head at once. It's not that impactful. I'm just not that committed. So I didn't buy the Yeti cooler. Bought the camping chairs though, and they're pretty sweet. To illustrate my last point, now we're moving on here, and I'm going to get, let's see. I got 13 minutes. You guys go to chat if you have questions and you want to do Q&A, and I'll stop short and we can do Q&A. If not, I'm just going to go up to the bell. Elite level doctor money earning salespeople get a higher volume. Not only do they take no for an answer, they get a higher volume of decisions, and they get those decisions faster, right? So why salespeople that don't make any money and aren't really succeeding and have jam-packed pipelines full of crap that's never going to close are just, they have buyers in this journey that are just, there's nebulous. They haven't answered that, they don't even know how to facilitate the decisions. They're not sure what questions to ask. They're not even sure what decisions they need to get. Elite level salespeople are navigating this mug, and they are getting a high volume of prospects through this thing very quickly, right? They're also not uncomfortable when someone goes, I'm just not really committed. Thank you, Mrs. Prospect. I appreciate the opportunity. Holler at me if you need anything in the future. peace, right? They're okay parting ways. They're okay parting ways. They get a high volume of decisions. They get decisions quickly, and they're okay parting ways. Now let's talk through some more technique pieces. Another really powerful big difference between this proverbial pushy salesperson that we hate and how elite level salespeople close deals and how trusted advisors close deals. It's called the neutral or negative posture. So let me give you an illustration here. Whoops. There's a byline and it goes 1 to 10. And 10 is, oh my gosh, Rob, I love it. When do we get started? Here's some money. I cannot wait. I want to buy this, right? 10 is like, definitely I'm in. 1 is, I'm offended by your presence. Get the hell out of here. I don't want anything to do with you, your solution, your company, right? So that's the byline. 10, I'm 100% in. We can't get started fast enough. 1, I hate it. Get out of my face. Never want to talk to you again. Okay. Now we know based off of our previous conversations here that most prospects are just sort of hanging out here being stuck. And we know that that's the most dangerous and difficult to deal with prospect, somewhere between like 4 and 6. It's called a neutral prospect, right? You know, I really like it, but we're just not sure if it fits in the budget. Just give us another week, you know, that kind of crap where they're stuck and not even moving. What seems to make sense psychologically and what untrained salespeople and annoying and pushy salespeople do with a neutral prospect, because we all get neutral prospects, is they hang out up here at 10 and they try to go fishing for this neutral, excuse me, this is the salesperson, this is the prospect. They try to go fishing for this prospect. They hope to catch them, and then they, by force, are going to work really hard to reel them in, right? And what a positive salesperson that's hanging out at 10 says is, you don't understand, you're really going to love it. Oh my gosh, all my clients are so happy. We have the perfect solution, right? You guys have been through that, a salesperson trying to close you. It's, we're the greatest. It's the best. It's such a perfect, you're really going to love it. When can we get started? Okay. And that's what's called a positive. It's called positive posture. Now you can close deals successfully that way. It is just so damn hard. It is just so freaking hard to go fishing, hook one, pull them in by force, right? The line can break. There's all this bad stuff that could happen to you, right? Elite level salespeople and trusted advisors actually hang out to the negative side of the prospect. Right? And they maybe push gently, but the easiest way to get a prospect off of 5 up to 10 is for them to move themselves, right? So a negative or neutral posture might be, you know, Haley, I haven't heard from you in a couple weeks. Typically that means that I've just missed the mark in some way and it just doesn't make sense to do business. Is that kind of where we're at, right? And you're either going to get, yes, that is exactly where we're at, and I don't want to do business with you, which I will take all day long because now you're out of my pipeline and I have time for other stuff. Or you're going to get, Rob, it's not that you missed the mark, it's just that, blah, 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 blah. And whatever it is, even if I was wrong, it's okay, because what comes next is the truth. And it's also a bunch of really high quality information that I did not have access to before I said something just a little negative, just a hair bit negative. Not, Haley, I'm worried that you hate me and you never want to see me again and I deeply offended you. It's, hey, I feel like I missed the mark, right? Typically when a client like you or a prospective client like you was really excited, and then we've spent 2 weeks sort of exchanging emails and we've lost all urgency, usually it means you're no longer interested in the solution. Is that fair? Right? Is that fair? Negative and neutral positioning isn't just closing business, stuck deals, it's also the way that you go to market to prospect, right? Hey, I work with a lot of company presidents and CEOs who are doing pretty well, but maybe a little frustrated with the growth of their business. Typically, they're not getting in front of enough new high quality opportunities, or when they get in front of those opportunities, they don't close quite as quickly or at the margins that they'd like. But Mrs. Prospect, I don't suppose that's happening to you, is it? Right? So I'm hanging out here. I mean, that's probably not happening to you, is it? And she goes, well, yeah, it is, right? It's so non-threatening, right? This, oh my God, I'm a sales consultant. I help so many companies, you guys. We do training, we have fun. People are like, oh, I don't want anything to do with that. That sounds terrible. I got enough enthusiasm in my life. But if I say, hey, I work with companies a little frustrated, a little struggling, that's probably not happening to you, is it? Well, yeah, it is. Oh, really? So tell me about that, right? It's this neutral, it's this approach from neutrality. It also gives you the what do I want to say? The word that's evading me now. You come across as we've talked about objectivity. What we like about trusted advisors in our life that we hate about salespeople is I'm this objective, sort of disinterested. If you have these problems and you want to talk to me, okay. If not, no big deal. I don't care. I got other stuff to do. It gives you that kind of posture too. So, okay, I got 6 minutes. Okay, so I'm going to end it there, and I'm going to hit your guys' questions here. Rob, what sort of establishing questions do I personally use to get to a decision, be it no or yes, without seemingly assumptive or pushy? So one thing, Dan, that I didn't get to, so thank you for asking that question. It gives me the opportunity here to bring this up. Permission to say no, and permission really to ask questions, permission to push back, like asking for permission in advance before you do anything. If you're ever worried about being pushy, being salesy, just say that first and get permission. Hey, Dan, I got to ask you a tough question. I'm sort of worried it's going to come across salesy. Are you okay with that? Literally 20 times out of 20, I've never had someone say, you know what? No, I'm not interested in that right now. They always say, oh, yeah, sure. You put yourself in a position where the prospect can rescue you. It makes them feel good about themselves. Hey, Dan, I got a tough question. I'm a little worried it's going to be sort of salesy sounding. Are you cool with that? He goes, yeah. He loves to rescue me. And then I go, perfect. And then I can just ask whatever the heck question I wanted to ask. Also, if you want a decision and it's time for them to make a decision, but you don't want to be salesy, go for the no. Hey, Dan, I sort of get the feeling, we haven't gone anywhere in a couple of weeks. I sort of get the feeling like you just would like to tell me no, but you're just trying not to hurt my feelings. Is that what's happening? Like, if you want a decision, go for a no, because then all of a sudden they go, man, wow, this guy has incredible self-awareness and is really confident and really comfortable. I could tell him no. What's more likely is that they're not going to tell you no. They're going to say, well, it's not no, it's, oh, your pricing seems a little high. Whatever it is, I get a bunch of new, high quality, really good information off of that. So there's that. Yeah, that's really it, Dan. A lot of times you'll find out that they made a decision, they just don't feel comfortable sharing it with you. And so you got to make them feel comfortable. To me, that's what getting a decision or getting a shared decision is about. How many buyer's journeys decisions do you think need to be made to call someone a true prospect? Yeah, so that's a good question. I think, is this still sharing? Okay. I have a 3-stage pipeline, and it goes prospects, qualifieds, and closables. And to be a prospect, you have to have a problem that's impactful, and I probably want a little bit of commitment, right? Like, if any of you guys gave me a referral, I would set up a 15-minute call with that person, and this is what I would accomplish. Hey, what made you want to talk to me? you know, Rob, I heard that you know a lot about selling, and I own a company, and you know we're doing pretty well, but you know we could be closing a little bit better. Oh, really? Tell me a little bit about that. So now I've got the problem, and now I'm going to get after. Okay, what's happening because you're not closing, and is that meaningful, and would you like to fix it? And if they give me those three things, then I go, perfect. Look at your calendar. What do you have going on next Tuesday? We're going to schedule a little longer conversation. I'll send you a Zoom invite. It'll take 60 minutes. You ask me questions, I ask you questions, that kind of stuff. So to me, it's those three. That's a really good question. And then A, they know they have a problem. B, they want to spend their money. C, they know you are the solution. How can you figure out what part they're stuck on? So having a problem and having an impactful problem and a problem that you're committed to fixing are different, right? I got a lot of problems in my life that I'm not fixing right now. I'm sitting here looking at a spackle spot on my wall. It's a problem, but you guys are more important than me finding sandpaper and say, right? There's a difference between having a problem, that problem being deeply meaningful, and you being committed to fixing it. So that's my first question. They want to spend their money, but do they want to spend it with you? Like what are the alternatives to doing business with you, Emily? Would be a question that I'd have for that one. So is doing nothing an option? A lot of times it is, right? A lot of overweight people in the world that want to lose weight, but doing nothing is a pretty damn good option. So they're going to take it, right? Or is your competitor or doing it in-house? So the alternatives to doing business with you might be it. And you could, when you're stuck, you could just ask something simple. You could nurture and get permission. Hey, Emily, you know, I got to tell you, I'm struggling a little bit. I was hoping you could help me. And Emily goes, yeah, I'll help you. I go, I feel like that you've got a problem here that we've talked about, right? It's A, B, C, X, Y, Z. And this is right in our wheelhouse, right? Check. Yeah, Rob, blah, blah, blah. Okay. Seems like you've got a budget set aside. Oh yeah. It seems like you spend the money and there's no real dire consequences. Oh yeah. Seems like you think that we would be able to help you with this. Oh yeah, Rob, I've heard a lot of good things about you. You got a good reputation. Okay. So what am I missing? And I'm asking you that because normally if I've got those three things, we are doing business. And you and I aren't there yet, and that's okay. And you could tell me no, right? That's totally fine. But normally when those three things are happening, we're doing business. What am I missing? You could put it that way, and a lot of times they'll go, here's what it is, right? Because you know what's worse than having a prospect hate you almost is when they love you. When they love you, like if you're great at relationships, they're so afraid to hurt your feelings. They're like, oh, here's what it is. I think we're going to hire my brother-in-law instead. And it breaks my heart to tell you because I like you so much. So sometimes it's just, let me make you feel comfortable. Thanks, Woody. Oh, it looks like you already signed out. Yeah, you guys, I'm at 3:01. If you sign out, it doesn't hurt my feelings. You'll get an email from me if you want to talk later. That's okay. All right, cool, guys. Yeah, I think that's the end of the questions. So
Thank you, Rob.
perfect. Thanks for coming. Love you all. Mean it.
Have a good day, everyone.
Thank you.
Bye.